Can a U.S. president use the presidential pardon on himself? The question of whether a U.S. president can pardon himself or herself is a contentious legal issue, rooted in the Constitution's Article 2, Section 2, which grants the president the power to issue pardons for federal offenses. However, the Constitution does not explicitly address self-pardons. Legal scholars are divided on this issue. Some argue that allowing a self-pardon would undermine the principle of the rule of law, suggesting that it would contradict the notion that no one is above the law. Others contend that the president's broad pardon powers could technically extend to self-pardons. Ultimately, the lack of precedent and the ambiguous constitutional language means that this issue remains, well, unresolved. It has significant implications for presidential accountability and the balance of power within the U.S. government. A definitive ruling would likely require intervention from the Supreme Court, highlighting the ongoing tension between legal interpretation and presidential authority. Now, one fascinating precedent to consider is the Department of Justice's 1974 memo, written just days before Nixon's resignation, which concluded that a president cannot pardon himself under the fundamental rule that no one may be a judge in their own case. This memo, while not binding law, has influenced legal thinking on the topic for decades. The presidential pardon power's origins actually are in English common law and provide another interesting lens. The pardon power was conceived as an act of grace from the monarch, but English law never contemplated the monarch pardoning themselves since, well, the monarch was considered above the law to begin with.